Welcome back, everybody, to the Gears Pro League Split 2 Day 4. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Jacob MVPR. We're moving into, in my opinion, one of the best matches of tonight. Rise versus the Pittsburgh Knights. NA versus Latin America, and both teams undefeated, fighting for first place. Jacob, after this matchup is done, only one team will be on top.
Yeah, only one team can really kind of claim the throne at the end of the day. I don't care what the record says, because these competitors will find anything to put themselves on top of their opposition. So we got to put that talk to rest and really settle the score here. And between both of these two matches, man, am I surprised after the performance yesterday coming out of Rise, the way DeToX, the way INZEM coming back after that break performed as a whole. Everybody just lights out. It's almost hard to bet against them, but you also have a fire Pittsburgh Knights squad that has been going the distance, that have been showing out against a lot of their opposition, whether if it's an easy game or a long one. They figure out what the plan is and they execute to perfection.
Pittsburgh Knights obviously had chaos on their roster for Split 1, and they made great headwaves, in my opinion. You know, not necessarily in Pro League. I was really disappointed with the way they played there. But towards the end of Split 1, going into the Fall Major, I didn't expect a lot from them, but I got a lot from them. Second place, ended up in Grand Finals, only to be bested, of course, by KCP, winning their major, second major back-to-back, followed, of course, with the MSP in the beginning. They haven't lost in what, like 5-6 months. But regardless, though, they end up making a change, and they pick up Fiercely. So Pittsburgh Knights roster, they're looking incredible. Let's actually take a look at all four of them, because the core three, Jacob, have been staying together, Raver, Dezo, Monkeys, for quite some time. But the addition of Fiercely has proved to be one of the best additions, I think, really out of anybody, anybody that was added to a roster.
It just goes to show that this core roster is championship caliber material. No matter if it's summons on their side, identives, it doesn't matter who it is as that fourth guy, they're championship caliber material. But they don't want to be just championship caliber material. They want to be the champion. So you have to add firepower, especially when a lot of the elite teams, the Rises, the KCPs, the EU Uniteds, they win by aggression. And the only way to beat fire is to fight fire with fire, and I think that's what Fiercely brings to the squad, a fire offensive presence.
It really does. Again, one of the most electrifying additions to a roster. Pittsburgh Knights truly has elevated their play style, and that's saying something, because like I said, they ended up second place in the Fall Major. Takes two to tango. Let's take a look at the Rise roster. You said it best, INZEM, right? An explosive performance yesterday against the Pioneers. Of course, DeToX, Avexys, and Rushiez all had their part. These guys are looking legendary, and I gotta say, giving me goosebumps. I think we might be seeing this roster in Grand Finals of the next major.
I mean, they absolutely have the genetic makeup to do just that. This core roster, for the most part, was already in a finals before. INZEM has tasted victory, but in DBZ. Now he wants to taste that victory back home. He's coming back to Gears. He wants to win that championship here in Gears of War, back with Rushiez, who also has that championship experience, but Avexys and DeToX, they are bridesmaids, never the bride. They placed second numerous times, but just like you, I think this is the split where they have the most potential. Last time when they lost to KCP in the finals, I don't think too many people to start that season actually saw them in the finals, especially with a big change franchise for DeToX. But this time around, the way they're playing right now, you would be a fool to think otherwise.
Yeah, the way they played yesterday against Pioneers was truly incredible, impeccable. In fact, 3-0 victory. And like we said at the beginning, at least the core three of the roster, minus Bronny, hadn't been 3-0'd like that since last year of June. That is an eternity. So clearly Rise hurt them. I'm curious if they'll have that same energy tonight. But let's look at our key player matchup. We have two players we need to hone in on, and that's going to be Avexys and Monkeys. And honestly, this is a perfect combination.
Damn.
And I know why you're saying down. Look at Avexys, 2, 4, and 1, my guy. His stats are incredible.
Playing absolutely out of his mind. I did not expect to see these type of statistics. I only think stats tell a portion of the story, but for Avexys, that's more than just a portion of the story. He is in, he is out, making sure he gets the eliminations. He's damaging everything in his sight when it comes to execution. And if they play on Clock Tower, you can see why. He plays that host spot. When he plays on the checkout, he played towards a backpedal. He's a big supporting cast for his roster. He always figures out a way to stay alive. Very similar to Monkeys. Both of these guys are a massive X factor, because I believe if they're not playing to the best of their capabilities, either one of their teams can lose the series.
Absolutely, without question. Avexys is having a lackluster day. Ryze is going to suffer. Same thing for Monkeys. And that's kind of always been the storyline, right? If Monkeys is suffering, well, Pittsburgh Knights isn't going to have a good time. Let's take a look at our maps, Jacob, see what we're going to have to start us off with. Well, we're going to be starting with District. Ryze picking that one. Great map pick for them. You know, they've always liked District. They've always had success on District in ways, even going all the way back to Escalation. So this is going to be a strong start for them, followed by Checkout, which does give me some worry a bit for Ryze. Well, because Pittsburgh Knights love Checkout, and they always have.
I like both of these maps, and I like the fact that no matter how well Avexys and Ryze do on District Control, throughout this season, we've seen the Pittsburgh Knights lose that map number 1, come out swinging on map number 2, and steal away that momentum leading into map number 3 and 4 to kind of close out the series, which is why we see them 3-0, top of the food chain, along with this Ryze squad. So no matter what happens, I think Ryze's road to victory is through map number 2.
Let's get into our predictions. I can't hold back. I really can't, brother. These 5 maps are looking juicy. Looking juicy, man. And Canals to finish off is going to be a fun one. Ryze actually doesn't like the double snipe, or at least they didn't when it was reintroduced back into Split 1. So, but you know what? They're still great on it, and that's the big thing about it. They don't like it, but they know they have to be good on it. I think Kenny was one who kind of said that about certain maps. He didn't like them, but he knew you had to be good on them if you wanted to be a champion. So let's talk about it. I'm going to be going first because I genuinely have no idea who you're going with at this point, Jacob. So for me, look, I got to say it, man. I'm going with Ryze. Ryze victory against Pioneers yesterday was monumental, like absolutely monumental. Love seeing that, and the way they did it was huge. But again, if they don't bring that same energy against Pittsburgh Knights, they could be in for a rude awakening, and LATAM could be on top by the end of tonight. But Ryze is my pick so far. What about you?
Honestly, to open the show, I said one of my predictions might change, and it was this match. I'm not going to go ahead and say I'm going to change my prediction just yet. I'm just going to go ahead and say Ryze right now has all the fire in the world. You do not shut out the Kansas City Pioneers 3-0. You do not shut them out in the fashion that they did. On top of that, everybody is firing on all cylinders on this roster, and you would be a fool to bet against them.
Yeah.
I am going to take it away from Colin and say I have to be the biggest fool in the world, because almost Pittsburgh Knights. Okay. Let's go, PK. We have the heart, we have the soul, and we have the passion. Latin America will prevail tonight.
Okay, little Latin American action coming out from PR. You love to see it. Hey, Pittsburgh Knights is a fair pick. Brother, I can't blame you for picking them. Hey, this was a tough one. And I got to say, if Ryze didn't beat up on Pioneers in the way they did yesterday, I might have leaned towards Pittsburgh Knights with what I've been seeing from them. But I still think Ryze is the favorite, clearly. Now, we're split. But who is Chat going to side with? Are we going Latin America? Are we going NA?
Inner heart.
Something tells I think Ryze might be the Pittsburgh Knight. I really didn't know that. I'm not even playing up for the camera. That stuns me. Did you not see Ryze beat Pioneers yesterday in the way they did it? Chat, I get it. Latin America, hey, you got to represent. But come on, you're not going with Ryze? Hey, this is an easy dub for me, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
You know, shout out E United keeping us engaged with the predictions, even on Twitter. So if you guys want to get a part of the mix, just reply to their tweet, make your predictions. But I said one thing to the Pioneers, or not the Pioneers, I said one thing to the Knights, and I'm going to say it here yet again. Let's get this bread, boys.
Okay, someone's getting the bread. I don't know if it's us, but someone's getting the bread. Okay, Jacob? Hey, it's going to be a great matchup and a fantastic start. I favor Ryze on this map. I favor Pittsburgh Knights on the next map. Ryze, let's see how well you're going to be playing today. I love this initial headbutt, though. I really do. It has to happen. Meanwhile, you're going to have INZEM and Monkeys facing off for the drop shot in the mid. And you know what? Not as explosive of an initial as, well, you know what? Hey, and that's why. Okay, because we're gonna have I was over here in my little casta mode. I'm leaning over. I'm enjoying life,
like,
you know, sipping on some pina coladas, man. But you know what? We'll have a little break. We'll have a little comeback, and that's okay. But that was one hell of an intro,
I like it though. I like it because I switched my predictions. I'll go ahead and snitch on myself. My original predictions, looking at this matchups, I said Rise has the series. You cannot take away what they've been able to do. DeToX getting more active in chat. Shout out to DeToX for spreading the love. But like I said, I'm a fool. My heart lives and dies the Pittsburgh Knights. And honestly, we were talking about it before. This is the only chance that I feel I have for taking back the prediction standings, and it's through PK. And it's PK in which Blaze chose in the first week against E United that got him that initial lead.
He did.
So to live and die by PK, I'm ready for it.
Fair enough. Yeah, he got one. PK might be the swing team. You know, Noble was my swing team in split 1. So PK could be the swing team here in split 2, which funny enough, both Latin American teams, I feel like Latin America has the most swing momentum. You know, they really do. It's like NA, you got to favor them in most matches, but LATAM, you just never know. You never know if they're going to win and really put a hurting on these NA guys. And that's the thing, man. You know, going back to what Vane said earlier, they got a lot of heart, have a lot of passion, right? Whether they're the fans or the players, LATAM truly is the heart of maybe Gears Esports. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking too much. But hey, I'm ready for this initial once again. I think this is going to be a good start. I hope it's going to follow all the way through. Let's get it going, Jacob.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it already. Very, very similar initial, but neither team kind of pushed in just yet. This time around, Raver is going to stun one out, but he gets stunned right before he's able to put that shot off. So now he's forced to retreat along with the rest of the members of the Pittsburgh Knights, while it's going to be INZEM versus Monkey. Stalemated in that 1v1 spot over towards the drop shot, where neither team has to be careful. But Dezenide, he gets banished to the Shadow Realm by Avexys. Fiercely trades him off. That's going to be the new addition to the Pittsburgh Knights, doing his darndest to keep this one equalized, but the points are going in favor of Rise early on.
Yeah, early on, but as we know, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, Jacob. Your favorite quote in the world to say. Bit of a messy fight for Rushiez opposite of Raver, and soon as really the dust settles, he's looking at 3 members, which Pittsburgh Knights took a while to take him down, maybe giving too much respect to him. I figured they would just fly at him, but they didn't want to lose their lives. I do love that INZEM has backed all the way up, not only for spawn control, but also with the drop shot. So if Pittsburgh Knights decide to, you know, rotate up from Pergola, INZEM is going to be in a huge power position to eliminate them before they even get close.
Have to play their cards right here, and the effectiveness of that drop shot. You see INZEM kind of going in towards that position where a lot of players usually funnel through from, but he's going to go ahead and miss the mark for a moment because they choose to kind of traverse through the juice. A 12-point differential, which is not much by any standards when it comes to these two teams, and the scoreline fiercely goes down. Dezenai stuck between a rock and a hard place, only able to get the down as INZEM go ahead and make short work of him. Avexys gets that down onto Raver. From north to south, Rise are continuing their roll.
Ooh, INZEM through the shot, no worries. Well, I guess the only worry is Monkeys, right? He gets taken down, but you know, the aggression, you can see it's still there from yesterday. Rise was putting a hurting on Pioneers because they refused to let go of the gas. It was all gas, no brakes. And Pioneers at times were looking like they were struggling with that aggression because Rise was hitting some clean shots, I can't lie. And they continue to try and do the same here. But I like that Pittsburgh Knights is pushing them back head first, and they're not allowing them to, you know, feel as confident to push up. INZEM trying to make a bit of a flank like Adverse was doing in his matchup on Purified, but he's going to get caught out this time around and forced to reposition.
INZEM calls it out down onto Dezo, which is going to be the window of opportunity for Rise as they find that elimination, but they're trying to get the elimination and get ready to go. Now Fiercely has to be careful. He's getting spot out from 2 different directions. That's going to be 2 in a row for Avexys as he begins to go on a streak, but a split spawn coming in. INZEM has to go because he's getting shot in the back from Dezenide, and he go ahead and blows through Raver, but eventually he's going to go down. These trades are going to go back and forth as only 1 second has been gained by the Pittsburgh Knights off that hill to 10 and counting from Rise as this one will continue.
It is amazing that the scoreline is as tight as it is and as low as it is after basically 2 complete hills. Really a testament to how competitive and how close in skill Rise and Pittsburgh Knights are, and it makes sense because both of them currently in first and second respectively. Rushiez picking up the secondary drop shot. That's the second one that Rise has been able to secure, and the first one was missed. It was whiffed, so we'll see if Rushiez can have more success with his.
1 second gained off the Pittsburgh Knights as DeToX from downtown finds that elimination. Now he's going to have a free cross on the 2 players running in through the middle, and that's why he's sticking towards the outward portion of the map while simultaneously trying to get with his teams. You see Raver, Dez, and I, 2 players in position to try to strike, but everybody on the team has to go ahead and play together. The timing has to be perfect, especially if they are split up like this. But Raver finding that first one, that's going to give them an opportunity that's just going to be neutralized by Rushiez' drop shot.
Good connection. That's the second one, and finally they make good work of it. Taking Dezo out here would be great, but watch for your back, Rushiez. There's another player pushing. You make that 2, and now you got Pittsburgh Knights on the outside, but great team fire from Rise is hurting them. These PK members stuck in the corner. Raver on his last down and out will finally be finished off. Rise just 2 points away from hitting that 100-point mark, and Rushiez having that far angle. Ends up getting a little bit of spacing, and I know a couple of these PK members just up ahead are on their last down and out, but it doesn't matter because Monkey steady shot will take down INZEM for good measure. How much 29 seconds. So Rise looks like they're going to go in and give this up. Secure now bandstand, or excuse me, bandstand, my bad. And they're going to try and lock this in as long as they can. But Monkey's good challenge already, and he's going to win that fight against Rushiez. One more to deal with. Hits a nice spread on INZEM, but it's not enough. Now it's up to Raver, who eventually wins it.
And even though the trades are going back and forth, it's going to be up to PK to try to get the last of those eliminations, in which they will, as this hill is going to rotate towards the low side, finally making up for those first 2 hills, or at least the second one where they're only able to score about 1 point off of it. As you see them cemented towards the bandstand, drop shot being come up as well, but you see Rise, they're going to negate a free pickup for that drop shot and probably try to claim it as their own.
Throwing flash grenade.
9 to 42, still close, super competitive. Next hill is going to be spawning up, and there it is. It finally does. Rushiez big spot in the 1v2. He'll die off. Avexys desperately trying to get his hands onto the drop shot, which he will, and he's going to be relatively safe backing up. Pittsburgh Knights, though, will spread themselves out 3 strong to kind of triangulate this next hill, which is going to be hard for any member of Rise to push in. They're going to get peppered no matter where they go. The active is in. Monkeys might be the victim, or do you take down Raver? Which one is he going to decide to go for?
I would say, even though this is only about a 30-point differential, you got to give it up to the Pittsburgh Knights because all of the drop shots have went in way of Rise. Good job for Avexys. He's not using it just yet, but he's not going to be able to at all. Fiercely shut him down. No drop shot out to play, though, as Pittsburgh Knights looking to close the gap even more so, possibly tying it up. A split spawn is going to come in for Rise, though. Beardsley has to be careful because 2 players are behind him. They easily try to move across to try to get this 3v2 intact, but it does look like Rise, they're going to go ahead and concede the remainder of this hill and try to rotate across, hoping to put all their eggs into the next one.
We're going to have a tied ball game just about. Well, Pittsburgh Knights will, I'll call it tied. It's just 7 points, right? It's not really that impactful, especially when both teams are still below 100 points. It's the second time Rise, Jacob, has, backed up, gave up some time to Pittsburgh Knights to set themselves up early on. PK, though, off that last hill, did a great job penetrating and breaking that defensive setup of Rise, and they're looking to do the same here. Avexys will die off. INZEM, he's going to be shot plus backing up. It looks like PK, despite Rise setting up early on, PK has no worries at all unless INZEM makes a heroic play.
There's an opportunity there. He's able to get one, but denied from around town. And I got to go ahead and say, after a great start from Rise, a hill number 2 for Rise that scored 40-1, Pittsburgh Knights answer back 51-1 on hill number 4 as we move into hill number 5, where the Pittsburgh Knights have just taken away the lead from Rise. We've begun to slow down, but I don't want to say that because it doesn't mean much the way these teams are both playing fast as can be to take any advantage they can.
I think Rise, they need to be more focused on the team orientation, which I don't see them doing so. They're playing as individuals. Case in point, Avexys pushing Dezo in the way that he did. Rushiez now by himself, as Avexys was down before. You're not seeing that cohesive push that makes Rise successful, that teamwork that makes them so successful. They need to stop playing as individuals and congeal together once again, where they can find that success. Pittsburgh Knights, however, are playing very well for the trades and their team firing together, which is making a big impact. Fiercely sees an opportunity, and that was such a beautiful display of trigger discipline. He could have fired on DeToX, he really could have, but instead he waited, and then he took down Fiercely and even got the down onto DeToX to allow Dezo to get the finish. Those are the plays, the micro plays that make all the difference in the world, and PK is looking really right now at least a step above Rise.
Right now, they are on a phenomenal run. 111-2 for the Pittsburgh Knights as Rise continue to struggle in the mid portions of this game. They need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast as PK. They're looking like they're going to swarm for another hill. A silver lining drop shot as Monkeys blunders it off the cover, takes out Fiercely. Detonite actually gets it down onto his teammate as Raver gets chopped out. Monkeys soon to follow, which leaves Detonite by himself. This was the miracle that Rise needed to get back into this game because, like I said, 111-2 at this point.
Yeah, they look as if they can potentially come back here. But at the halfway point, at least for Pittsburgh Knights, Rise has yet to reach that. Counting the numbers, they see Pittsburgh Knights pushing a bit stronger on the top end of things. That's why INZEM was going to go ahead and back up. Staying where he was would have basically been throwing away his life, but unfortunately, he had no choice as he was taken down. One by one, the Wolfpack is able to take down Rise members and to get closer and closer. In fact, they're already on the hill. And that's a reoccurring trend again. Rise is setting up defensively, but Pittsburgh Knights is dismantling Rise member as individuals and eventually closing in and getting onto the hill. So Pittsburgh Knights, they're playing control better.
Yeah, they're playing control. They're playing that slaying game better. They're not letting this team of Rise, who is working good together up until this point, work together at all. But another drop shot into the hands of Rise. Hopefully that can be the tool to stop any momentum from building further on the side of Knights. As DeToX in a 1v1 against Monkeys, he gets shut down, which is going to alleviate some pressure because they just lost Detonite a few moments to go. But back and forth, this one goes as INZEM and the rest of this Rise squad get control of the hill right back.
All right, 182 to 124 back at the start. Avexys, couple shots though on Fiercely. I don't know about that one. Taking down Avexys definitely hurts, but you still got the man advantage, at least 2-1 in the moment against Dezo. That is until Monkeys obviously joined into the mix. Now it's a straight 2v2, but it could have been a 3v1 or a 3v2 if Avexys stayed alive. But now INZEM is forced to try and clutch up, which he looks as if he might be doing so. Avexys on the flank, and all is right with the world as Rise does win that engagement fiercely. He wanted the pressure in, but he knows by doing so, he's throwing his life away, and in fact, DeToX actually will angle him out. Rise still has a chance to catch up.
Got a few more seconds up for grabs. Fiercely is going to be bled out as you see them trying to at least take one portion of this map back as Raver goes down for a split second. That's going to be Monkeys, who takes a ton of damage. He's going to go down, caught out of position. DeToX is not trying to slow down just yet, but he's also trying to keep his opponents guessing. Great flash over the top to go ahead and try to nail himself deep into the spawn, and it's going to work. And he's going to catch Raver down and out. Everything going good for Rise on this hill after winning that initial team fight. Back-to-back battles. One is going to put them within arm's length of tying this game up.
Arms length, like you said, 175 to 182. Well done, Monkeys. Fighting tooth and nail to get DeToX out of the way, but DeToX steady shots with the Lancer will eventually get the best of them. Now Rise has to find a way to go ahead and get Fiercely out of the way. If you can take control of this area, you can have a beautiful cross on the players down low. In this case, obviously, be Pittsburgh Knights, but Dezo's putting up one hell of a fight, but not so much that he can control that area. He's going to get taken down, and Rise is kind of taking the momentum back. Another drop shot in, but it's not going to be used on Monkeys because, well, he's got faith that Avexys was able to slide in and take him down, which he did. Fiercely last alive. He'll make the most of his life, but getting Avexys as he was on all fours. But there it is. The lead has shifted back to Rise, Jacob, and they're about the Apex 200.
Every time a lead shift, that's because one team is damn near shutting them out. Pittsburgh Knights took it back after a 91-2 run. Now they're on 56-0 and counting on the side of Rise, which goes and teeters that lead back on over. Great drop shot to try to neutralize. Fiercely stuck out in the middle, caught out of position, getting crossed by multiple members, and Rise, they're unable to clean it up just yet. Everybody's spawning and being in the right place at the right time. A double revive for both of these members as the battle in the middle will continue, with INZEM being one of the last members standing. Two great shots, Fiercely trying to survive, and that's going to be INZEM, the terror from 120 frames, returning to the Pro League.
Absolutely. Rushiez also helping out. Avexys taking down Raver, and Rise continues to get richer and richer in the points category. 30 seconds remaining, and Pittsburgh Knights look as if maybe, just maybe, they're going to go at one more attempt to try and get on that hill. You saw them stabbing at it, but ultimately they make the smart decision to go ahead and back up, get away, and head over towards ATM for the next Fresh Hill. Now, DeToX could be in a trouble spot. He's kind of by himself in the moment. You do have player 5 on the opposite end. That's going to be Rushiez, and Rushiez needs to stay alive. Shock in hand and manages to get away. More importantly, the drop is also... Oh, no, it didn't have any shots. He pulled it out, but forgot there was no more rocket in his pocket. But the shock is going to cut him off and give an opportunity for Avexys to lancer them down. It is chaos right now, Jacob, but who is going to have the Fresh Hill once it's done with?
Yeah, right now, Rise is looking like Forrest Gump the way they're running away with this one at the end. 110 unanswered points until that very moment where Pittsburgh Knights had finally scored 2, but they're getting the battles towards the low half of the map. Rise is trying to stay alive, but they're unable to do so. DeToX and INZEM will fall, and that unanswered score streak will finally end with 65 seconds left for grabs, but everybody's dispersing outwards. They know how important this next drop shot is, so everybody is fighting tooth and nail. That's Rushiez trying to stay alive. He's going to get caught towards the back end. DeToX gets shut down as well. That's going to be Dezenide, who finally claims that drop shot for his own. Wastes no time putting it to use, but it's only going to be a down. A double down between INZEM and Monkeys, with Dezenide getting cleaned up. So this is the moment Rise has. 3v2, possible 4v3 advantage if they can play their cards right.
Oh, it's close one, 2:18 and counting. Now Pittsburgh Knights looking to recover the lead once again as Rise is looking to make one final attempt to push into the hill, and it's going to be a scrappy fight without question. A 3v3 all the way. Monkeys creating that spacing. Fiercely has dropped. Monkeys is going to be down. Rise looking to penetrate the hill, and they do so right in the last couple of seconds. And honestly, they'll take every point they can get at this point because now they're about to be the 250. But we're getting back to the bandstand hill. This is where Rise set up early on, if you remember correctly, Jacob, but Pittsburgh Knights took it over. And once they did, they didn't back down, and they took a substantial lead. This time around, though, Rise seems to be solidified quite well. The shock has been thrown, and Pittsburgh Knights can't get into the hill as easily as they did before.
Yeah, 51-16 run for the Pittsburgh Knights after that last hill. Momentum beginning to shift on over to their side, but they get a little too antsy for the hill. Multiple shutdowns go in, but Fiercely's going to be the stop and the anchor that the Pittsburgh Knights need. And hopefully he doesn't overstay his welcome because his teammates get that split spawn so they can angle out Avexys. They can angle out the remaining members of Rise, especially with the numbers being on their side as Fiercely's trying to strike while the Iron's hot, but he gets over aggressive and shut down. Luckily, Dezenide and Raver are able to use their teamwork to get one player down, but the points are still going in favor of Rise, so PK has to figure out a way to contest this while simultaneously winning the battle.
And PK is, in fact, keeping it contestable. Really, honestly, it's Rise because PK has the most members here, but it doesn't mean they're going to find success. It's not guaranteed. Rushiez, though, not ready for that blindside. Raver will walk right through him. We got 40 seconds remaining. Pittsburgh Knights could, in fact, elevate themselves above Rise and put them at 270. I expect Rise to make one more final attempt to get onto the hill. Will they be able to do so? That is truly the question. See a player down. That's going to be Dezo. He gets picked back up, but only momentarily just to be finished off. And Pittsburgh Knights don't have the lead yet, and we do see Rushiez with the drop shot. Avexys will fall, but Rise is fully committed on the next hill.
Yep, Rushiez. They have to find Rushiez here because that's the guy that's going to put that final nail in the coffin as we're tied up at 267 apiece. Only 33 points for the victor. Rushiez doesn't pull out that drop shot and put it to use. He's waiting for the perfect moment. The downs are going to come in. So are the eliminations. And Blunder bounces off the knee, kicks it away, but Fiercely goes down anyway. The hill will be secured by Rise, and their moment to taste victory on map number 1 is 33 seconds away.
I mean, it's really on a knife's edge at this point. Pittsburgh Knights, one final attempt. If they whiff this, if they mess it up, that's all she wrote, Jacob. Rise will take map number 1. As competitive as it was, the W is all that matters at the end of the day. Here it comes, the final attempt for Pittsburgh Knights to get the break. Will they find success? If they do, there's enough time here remaining for them to win. They gotta wait for the shock to dissipate, though. And they also have to push in now. They've got to go for it. They can't waste any time. Rise knows this is the hole to win the map. 294 and counting. Now make that 295. 5 points away for Rise. That's going to be the first down, though. And it looks like Pittsburgh Knights are starting to break through. Will they be able to fully get it? Rise banding together. Dezo's going to be on the side flank. He's going to try and make a big impact. Avexys is now going to fall. You got INZEM just up ahead. INZEM trying to hold his ground. This is for the win, but INZEM falls. Pittsburgh Knights stay alive.
And Monkey stayed alive throughout all that battle. Rise was unable to solidify that elimination. Now the tables have turned. Rise 5 seconds away, but Pittsburgh Knights 20 seconds away with 24 seconds up for grabs. Rise, even if they don't get the seconds they need to at least contest this hill for a few short moments. 3 players gearing up towards the top. The push looking like it is going to come through. The contest comes in, so nobody is unable to be victorious unless they get INZEM out of the spot. They pop INZEM over the top. That's going to be Monkeys. Another elimination with more than 9 seconds left. They can win it, and they do. Pittsburgh Knights secure the comeback in map number 1 to steal it away from Rise.
There it goes. That's how quickly you can lose a control game. It doesn't matter if you're just 5 points away. You can be an eternity away, and case and point right then and there. I am so impressed with the composure of Pittsburgh Knights to stay alive and to ultimately thrive. 5 points separated the two teams. Pittsburgh Knights get one hell of a victory to start off the series.
Doing my math real quick reflections. I'm doing my quick math because as I look at these hills right now, I am shocked. I am shocked Rise lost that one and let it slip through. Like I said, on hills number 7 and hills number 8, 110-0 in favor of Rise. From there, 51-16, 34-17, and then about 33, I'm just kind of doing the math, to about 27. That was the closeout at the end. 33-27. And I'm going to say it again. I sound like a broken record. You can tell me to shut up if you want, but it's not how you start. It's how you finish. And the Pittsburgh Knights do it again.
That's a huge victory. Plus, they got checkout. That's the cherry on top coming up next, Jacob. But really, honestly, that is truly amazing. They made that happen. The composure was truly real. And it came down to that team fight. It came down to that fight where Rise had the shock just in front. They were 5 points away. They just needed to hold on. PK knew this was their final attempt to get that break on the hill. Yet they did it. INZEM was the last one alive trying to make some heroic plays, but he just simply couldn't. And much credit to the guy, in my opinion, who made that play happen was Dezenide. Dezo was the one who flanked all the way around the right side of that final hill and was able to get on that flank and discombobulate the last 2 members remaining from Rise and ultimately pick them up. And even if he didn't, he got the damage done to allow his teammates to pick it up. Dezo made the dream work. I am so impressed with Pittsburgh Knights winning map 1. That right there sets the precedence for the entire series. PK is now the team to beat.
Yeah, and I got to give it to you. It was Dezenide who kind of solidified that last flank. But I got to give it up to Raver as well. Everybody on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights doing exactly what they need to do. It was Ravers and Monkeys who were those first 2 people in towards the door. Monkeys goes down, but Raver, instead of just being the hero, instead of, I should say, trying to be the hero, trying to get greedy and put the game on his shoulders, he stays alive. He reunites with Dezenide on towards that flank, and then at the end of the day, they even kept Monkeys alive. Rise, you don't have enough time to figure out what went wrong. I almost want to say forget about it and move on. But man, is that one of those momentum shifts like we've ever seen.
Absolutely, to be that close to victory. And, you know, I say it all the time, Rise is a team that has the tendency or can get emotional. So I'm curious how this is going to affect their mentality heading into checkout. I do think they're going to be just fine. But for Pittsburgh Knights, they won a game that they looked like they were losing for quite some time. And I say that respectfully because you even looked in that replay. It was 267 to 267. But right here, anytime a team is 5 points away, like, you think it's over with. But this was the play. Dezo on the flank. If he's not on that flank, you already see Monkeys down. Monkeys, yeah, you got to trade. But Raven was coming from the front end. So that could have been a lot differently. If Dezo doesn't make that flank, I full-heartedly think Pittsburgh Knights loses this map. But Pittsburgh Knights win it because Dezo made the clutch when it mattered most. Incredible performance. And honestly, we expected this from this series. You got number 1 and number 2 respectively playing against each other. The winner of this is number 1 in the Pro League currently for Split 2. And it comes down to this, right? Check out Execution coming up next, Jacob. This is going to be an electrifying map.
Yeah, one of the biggest questions I'm going to kind of ask as we lead and go from map number 1 into map number 2 is, what is the mental state of this Rise squad? We know a lot of their past iterations can get down on themselves in this situation after letting a victory like that slip from within their grasp. They were ready to put it in their pocket, but they had a hole in their pocket. It fell out, and PK just picked up the victory and ran away. But check out to where it's just a war. They can bounce back. But if they don't win some of these early first blood battles, if they don't win some of these first rounds and they fall into a hole 2-0, possibly 3-0, I'm going to think Rise gave up. I'm going to think PK can easily take the series away. So for Rise, it comes in round number 1. You have to start out checkout on fire. You have to win to stop the momentum that was built at the end of that first map.
And the power dynamic is truly shifting when it comes to the power rankings in this split. And I love that. I really do. For the longest time, right? Pioneers, they were the team to beat. They still are the team to beat. But Rice 3-0s them and does it in an incredible fashion. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh Knights come out of nowhere, picking up fiercely in place of Chaos. And now they just took a map off of Rise, which is something Pioneers couldn't even do just last night, or just last night. So you think about that, right? It's crazy, and it truly does make the shuffle of top 5. Maybe for sure top 3, but top 5, I'll extend it there. Of who really is going to be the best. It's not solidified. It really is exciting. This is going to be an exciting split, more so than I thought it was going to be at the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, with the roster changes, the new teams forming, young guns getting that opportunity, because never in a million years coming to the season did I think that Noble roster would disband, that I would see Dyslexic go one way,
so.
Powers go another, Toady one way. And to me, it's just so shocking. But with a switch up like that, with a roster mania like we haven't seen in a long time, I think that means that a lot of these teams are passionate. They're going to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means joining the opponents that they beat in the past, similar to Kevin Durant. You know what?
It is shocking. It is shocking that Noble breaks up and does what they do. But I kind of felt it once they didn't have the performance they wanted during the fall major. It was kind of one of those moments where I was like, if there was ever a time where they were going to break up, this would be it. I'm curious if they had a better placing. If they did make it to grand finals again, would they have stayed together? It's all speculation. We don't know. But I think maybe, just maybe, they might have stayed together. But hey, they didn't. And that's just the way that it is. This is going to be a great map. Pittsburgh Knights, an opportunity to take a 2-0 lead. I favored Rise in map 1. I favor Pittsburgh Knights in map number 2. And in pure fashion, just like the series started, it's going to start the same way in map number 2 with a bit of a stalemate.
I get it, though. I get it. And I know we're UMG stream, but shout out to Azteca. They had to get in here.
Yeah.
But Trucy was like, hold on, we need some more time. And that's why it was PK. They team killed.
Hey, you're wild, Jacob. You're wild, Jacob.
I would listen to him. He can have my job if you want.
Producer? Yeah, I love the guy.
Yeah, if he came over and kicked me out of the chair, I'll just sit back, watch.
All right, let's get it going, Jacob. I like it. I really do, man. Hey, this is going to be a great matchup. Rushiez putting out those nades, man. Are they going to connect? Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's going to be fiercely. I was waiting for it. When is it going to pop? When's it going to blow up?
This is the round.
Yo. Oh, yeah? Watch this. Oh, shoot. He's got that much power?
Darth Monkeys. Darth Monkeys. Can't wait till he pulls out the saber and just slices and dices his opponents. That was a big 1v1 for Rushiez there. And it almost looked like, he can correct me if I'm wrong, shout out for the replay. He stutter stepped. He hesitated on which player he wanted to go for. He tried to fake him out, and I think it cost him a shot against Monkeys. And you don't want to give up a free shot to Monkeys. That man will kind of swarm on you like King Kong at the top of the Empire State Building. I don't want to do it.
Let's get it going. Now second round, Rushiez with the nades. Once again, he's going to go ahead and throw him out and see if he's going to have any impact. What do you think about that? Throw him out right off the rip, or do you think you hold on to him?
I mean, it's easy to say now. Hindsight, as this one will continue. DeToX getting that down onto Monkeys. He's trying to stay alive, though. DeToX needs to buy time for Rushiez to get there. He's going to go down, but how much damage did he pour out? I think that was a flash grenade. He shot Rushiez in his tracks. Shots over the top, unable to get the down. Rushiez knows he has a couple players weak. He pushes forward, gets the down onto Raver, of all people. And if he survived just a split second more, if he was able to put half the shot out, he probably gets the double down.
2-0 lead now for Pittsburgh Knights. They continue to soar through this series. I don't even know what I would think if Pittsburgh Knights 3-0'd Rice tonight in this series after Rice 3-0'd Pioneers. It really would make my head explode, and someone would have to replay.
9-0 on stream?
Huh?
It'll be the first ever 9-0 on stream?
Oh, man, it might. Actually, yeah, it might. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Let's go, Rise.
That would be pretty. It would be pretty crazy. Look at this. Look at this guy. Oh, look at this dude. He's gonna get taken. Hey,
happy feet.
Happy feet in 15 seconds, bro. That's a quick round.
I think the only way you can get quicker than 15 seconds is if you purposely just run into your opponent.
Yeah.
Chunk, chunk, chunk. Man, Avexys, you see why his stats are out of this world, because he always rises to the occasion. Kind of knock it out of the park. His Rushiez, though, he's always getting those nades almost uncontested. It's just about the usage. I think out of 4 nades, he's only gotten 1 elimination so far.
Yeah, not a good stat line, right? This time he's going to join his teammates up above. Raver, though, sliding into those DMs. But is he going to get an answer back? Well, he got 1 back. Can he get another? He's about to bag him a 3-piece, it seems. There's another player down. Look at this angle from Monkeys. Yeah, Rise is dead to rights here. You'd have to assume, right? Surely. Vexy's trying to get back up on his feet. They're all falling. This time, Pittsburgh Knights isn't going to play around. No beatdowns. Business as usual. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Rise. Like I said, when you put yourself into a hole after, I wouldn't even say just losing, but the fashion in which Rise lost it, it's almost like it's deja vu. Rise versus kind of the Pioneers, where it's a type of matchup 3-0, even though kind of you can expect that one to go the distance. Just nobody expected to happen. Anybody coming into today didn't see anything less than 4, possibly 5 maps, possibly lying to you. So that one's still a possibility, but it comes down to this 3-1 advantage. Already you see them getting aggressive. They get the instant sniper in the hands of Avexys, wasting no time, getting the down, and a 4v2 advantage in the blink of an eye for Rise. The only remaining members is going to be Designated and Raver.
DeToX finished off, so now 3v2, and Ryan's going to go ahead and back up, separate themselves. Maybe try to bait out Pittsburgh Knights to rotate up into Avexys snipe. Plus, Rushiez getting those nades once again. We talked about his connection rate, not looking too solid, but now it's a bit different, isn't it? It's not an initial, so having those nades as a deterrent or an opportunity to reposition his platform player to allow Avexys to get a shot could be pretty big. I'd be really impressed if Pittsburgh Knights win this, and more sad for Rise if they lose this, because they have everything they need to win this. And there's that repositioning. Big body onto Raver. Watch out, though. Dezo comes from the flank. But it's not going to matter anyways. Rise will finally put a point on the board again to bring it 2-3.
Yeah, great attempt coming out from Designated there to try to sideline somebody by a surprise, but even better job from Rise to kind of slow down and just take it one step at a time to secure that round victory. You got to think if they get a little antsy there, they funnel to one side, a couple flashes, smokes from PK, they can instantly turn that one on its side. You got to win the rounds that have the biggest advantage in winning for Rise. You have to continue to build off that momentum. You see Raver backing Rushiez once again with uncontested frags. 2 once again thrown without even thinking, unable to connect with elimination as Avexys does go down twice. The third one's going to be it, and Rushiez gets cleaned up trying to make a sneaky rotation. So this is like shooting fish in a barrel for the rest of this round. Easy as can be as Pittsburgh Knights go up 4-2.
4-2. Rushiez might just need to give up those nades as a whole, or just keep them or something. Honestly, he might even find more value picking up the nades or even foregoing them and going on a flank to discombobulate Pittsburgh Knights, but I really don't think Rushiez is that useful on the top with those nades, Jacob.
Yeah, he needs to do better, honestly, and he knows it in the moment. That's why I just need him to be able to kind of rotate them back, or just don't go over that at all. You can't make that mistake of wasting frags if you don't have them in your hand, but let's see if it is going to switch up this time around, and yes, he does. He might hear us loud and clear in his ears. He throws that first one in towards the mid lane. This one certainly should be money, but no, that's going to be a dud yet again as Rushiez with those frag grenades continues to struggle to find any eliminations.
Oh, now you got Fiercely with the incense. You got Dezo with the snipe. I mean, everything is looking good for Pittsburgh Knights at this moment. Plus, obviously, Rushiez had already sent those 2 nades flying to no connection. I'm surprised Dezo didn't line that one up. But this thing, Avexys, INZEM, and DeToX, it's going to be tough to move from where they're currently at with Dezo ready to go. Matter of fact, you could throw a nice ensign over to that left-hand side, that left-hand corner.
Especially if you do the trick where you kind of take the right side of the cover, you can rev that instant. Yes, they'll hear it, they'll see it a little bit, but you won't see it all the same, and you don't put yourself up for damage. So I'm just trying to see Fiercely, who's going to be number 8 in your mini map, would have to make that rotation across the map, but it does look like they're going to try to hold the line.
Hold the line, body shot on INZEM, but manages to get away. Meantime, all is going to be quiet. If you're in Rise's shoes, what's your game plan?
Let me just take it in. Let me take it in because Rushiez wasted frags yet again, so there's no frags there. Utility in the hands of INZEM. but he's in such a weird spot. I don't know his success rate to being able to hit the perfect stun for his teammate to push up. So I think they need to push through spawn. Right now, they need to kind of focus onto Monkeys. And I'm making that sound easy because Monkeys is no easy target, but DeToX is, as fiercely takes him out from downtown.
Downtown. Dezo's tried his best, man. Oh, finally gets a nice body for effect. Oh, but Rushiez is there. Dezo's going to get taken down 2v3. And we're going for the overtime, but watch out. Raver's ready to go with his own snipe. Pittsburgh Knights will ultimately get that win. It was a bit long-winded, but they got it. They got it in the end. And that's going to put them at 5-2 map point.
Yeah, I wanted to see Rushiez kind of push the outside spawn because that's the biggest individual battle he's going to get that doesn't contain an INZEM, that doesn't allow a free cross because of the position that he's putting himself in, but instead it looks like they wanted to push the flat side because of that overtime hill. Can't argue against it depending on how long that push would take, but now the Pittsburgh Knights on map point, steps away for going up 2-0 in a monster of a series that nobody might have expected, so this initial is so important for Rise. First blood has to go their way, and the damage is there, and that's basically a pseudo first blood with a team kill going down.
All right, 4v2 now, Rise. You gotta use this to your advantage. Monkeys giving one a haircut, but it's not gonna be enough. DeToX with the final shot with INZEM, getting the final kill. That brings it 5-3, and then hope for Rise to come back still within grasp. Can't count them out till the very end. Looking at the scoreboard, though, fiercely 2 first bloods, 9 kills, 5 deaths, 1 assist. Really been impactful, not only out the start, but also in general throughout this map. Pittsburgh Knights finally put the final nail in the coffin. Let's find out. My biggest question is, Rushiez join the team for a 4-man push? He will, and I think that's the best answer.
Get a page out of the Reflections playbook. Kind of executes on it. That's going to be a great cross from Avexys to get down. Nobody able to clean it up as Dezenide gets the free sniper thanks to his teammates' efforts. Unable to land the body shot, but like we've seen him in round 4. If you first you don't succeed, you try again, and triple down coming through. And the 4th elimination's in the books thanks to Dezenide. And the Pittsburgh Knights will shut down Rise back-to-back maps to take the second one 6-3 to have a massive stranglehold in this series as Fiercely gets MVP. So after a monster of a series yesterday, Rise 3-0 in KCP, they find themselves on the back foot, 1 map away from getting eliminated. Will they come back and have the series of their life? We'll find out next after this quick commercial break.
And welcome back, everybody, to Gears Pro League Split 2, Day 4. A powerful one, right, between Pittsburgh Knights and Rise. Whoever wins ends up in first place in the standings for Split 2 currently, and then whoever loses obviously takes their first L of Split 2. Really is an incredible battle we are seeing in Jacob. Pittsburgh Knights, 2-0 lead over Rise. The team, the very team that just last night gave us one of the most incredible performances against Pioneers, 3-0ing them, something that hasn't been done since June 10th of last year. So Pittsburgh Knights are looking like the best team currently in Split 2.
Yeah, and right now, I knew this match was going to be like a teeter-totter in the playground, going back and forth. But never would I have expected that teeter-totter to break and get stuck on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights. Rise is simply put coming out flat in a lot of different opportunities. And I'm not saying flat as overall. Look at the map number 1 scoreline, 5 points of differential. Coming into map number 2, it's almost like they were a shell of themselves. And that's why I asked the question coming into map number 2, what is the mental state of this Rise roster? And by the looks of it, it's not looking good. It looks like they aren't able to formulate a plan, but I'm saying it looks that way because when I looked at this series during the picks and bans, said Rise can take map number 1. I knew convincingly the Pittsburgh Knights were going to take map number 2. So even though I thought at this point in time we'd have a 1-1 tie game, I don't think I can count Rise out of the overall series just yet. And I say yet because I'm going to give it 1, maybe 2 rounds of the next map before I make my final decision.
I think at this point, my gut's telling me Rise is going to win this escalation on Vasgar, and we will see a map number 4, which will be on Ritual. If Rise successfully wins Vasgar and they do it in a convincing fashion, that's going to swing the momentum back in their favor, and also their mentality is going to be a lot stronger. We have seen so many times teams take a 2-0 lead, Jacob, only to go to a map number 5. It happens all the time. So this series, in my opinion, is far from being finished with. Now, some key takeaways, though, when it does come to Rise, they had an incredible performance yesterday on Vasgar against Pioneers, a team that is traditionally incredibly strong on Vasgar themselves, but they managed to beat them 5-1. It was an absolute beatdown, and they did an incredible job doing so. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh Knights, at least for Split 2, playing with Fiercely, I don't have enough of... I can't do a litmus test, if you will, because I don't have enough evidence. The only one that I have is when they played against Fury 1, and they beat them 5-2 on Vasgar. Now, the top performance during that matchup was Monkeys. No surprise there. He went 17-5 with 20k damage. So Monkeys is going to be that guy objectively with 15 caps, who's going to be rotating around, doing an incredible job, but also going to be potentially the main Slayer. But Jacob, really, all those stats, they don't matter, because it really depends on what the mindset of Rise is at. Pittsburgh Knights, they've been dominated, they've been playing well, they've been showing love, which means they're feeling on top of the world. So Rise, they've got to get that winner's mentality back if they want to beat PK in map number 3.
That's a massive 1v1 for Avexys, because you see on this side of the map where all the action is going down, his teammates are feeling that pressure. Great flank from Monkeys the start of the game. He got that initial first blood onto Rushiez and hasn't slowed down since. He was the one that also rotated back, leaving Desnite in the 1v1, which allowed Avexys that free fight, and which is keeping Rise into this game, because you gotta imagine, if he loses that fight, this is a triple cap domination while into round number 2.
Right, Pittsburgh Knights with a little bit of a lead so far. You see on that arrival spawn, so they traditionally you have to assume they're going to be the favorites so far. But we will see, obviously, Pittsburgh Knights rotating back around to kind of see what other hill they can get. And they look as if they're trying to commit for the B hill, which not a bad play at all. Avexys fighting tooth and nail, maybe take out Dezo, but this is going to get the best of them in the meantime, though. Rise really fighting hard to take the lead back, and they're holding on to it, or at least objective.
Perfect timing to get that kill, because you see Avexys got the decap. Just look how much time that decap is buying him. Desnite was unable to get in the fight to help his teammate, which is forcing this upward rotation, and which is being telegraphed from miles away. Rise has to see this one coming, because they have both INZEM and Avexys trying to backtrack. They're trying to set up for an eventual push that's going to have 3 players of the Pittsburgh Knights trying to push over, everybody doing their best to play the game in rotations instead of finding a disadvantageous fight. And I think Rise is doing a good job for now, but now they have to figure out a way to get offensive on their own, because 2 hills are now in possession of the Knights.
And it's going to be a 2-2 split, so this is where you risk everything, and if it fails, it fails, but if you're successful, you get a big victory. DeToX taking that much damage definitely hurts. Plus, you look on the opposite end of that kill feed. Losing INZEM hurts, because now that forces Avexys back, putting more pressure on Rushiez and DeToX to win their engagement, which, to their credit, they do win. So now the momentum will shift back over towards Rise. They win in 30 seconds. Fiercely looking to make some move through mid, but he's going to get caught out just that quick. And now Dezo's going for a break onto the A hill. Pittsburgh Knights are grabbing at straws, but Rise, they're going to win this round.
Yeah, grabbing at straws while Rise is grabbing at hills. Secure 2, and they're always like 1 hill. Literally just 1 hill behind at certain times for capping that triple cap domination. I think the biggest thing here in this round is Rise are looking to close it out and change in momentum against this squad that's up 2-0 for the Pittsburgh Knights, but it started off with Avexys winning that massive 1v1 against Desnite. Like I said, he loses that battle. It's a triple cap domination. We're probably done with round number 2 at this point.
Yeah, that is true, right? Absolutely true. It's a close one, and that is a big win for Rise, because they won checkpoint. They won checkpoint spawn. That is normally the most difficult spawn to win at. So now it should be theoretically smooth sailing for Rise after this point, because now they're going back down to a rival spawn, which most teams have success at. We could easily be seeing a 2-0 lead for Rise very shortly.
Yeah. Sight, I know a lot of people want to see complex to MT Woo Smoke out there. Want to see a big turnaround in favor of Rise. You know, they week in and week out, regardless of how they're doing, they put their heart and soul on their sleeve voting for him, and already 2 players getting traded out. INZEM going to be the only one to fall for Rise, as Monkeys just tries to back out of that situation. Now an overstay is welcome. figuring out a way to reunite with Dezenide, anchor onto this neutral hill, and then figure it out from there.
All right, Rise sitting with a 2-1 lead, as you said, anchor. And defend against wherever Pittsburgh Knights are going to push, which seems to be kind of condensing towards Dezo and Monkeys over on A. Do they wait for Raver to join into the mix before they push forward? Well, maybe. Yes, they do. And I think they're going to allow Raver to go to the steps, which Avexys is ready for. And he's hitting some wonderful DeToX shots. Unfortunately, no one is there to get the cleanup. And with Avexys falling and also DeToX, or excuse me, INZEM backing all the way up, you got to question, why didn't INZEM stay there with DeToX? Complementing those complementing those DeToX shots would have been pretty beneficial, but INZEM, he backed off.
And you can already see in your minimap as well, the Pittsburgh Knights, they cannot stop just because they got that one hill. They have to continue to go forward because of that neutral that was taken over by Rise. And Fiercely had no choice but to give it up. He didn't want to fight a 1v2 while his teammates were still alive, making things happen on the other side of the map as Monkeys wins a big battle against Avexys, who may not have seen him coming. 2 quick shots with the DeToX. Now Rushiez forced to turn, try to get out of there, but now even he is in a bad position. Thinking about rolling in towards the middle, but a perfect flash is going to allow him to anchor that back neutral hill to keep his team alive, but he's going to go down. And a quick rotation for both of these teams. It looks like Raj is doing everything they can to keep the points in their favor, but it's getting stolen away yet again by the Pittsburgh Knights.
The close one so far, but with PK having the 2-1 hill advantage, maybe this is going to be their move, or at least if they can hold on to it. See Rise, where they're going to be putting their numbers 3 strong up to the top side. Monkeys, I said he needed to have a good game. Well, he has had a great game so far. We'll see if he can, keep that longevity up and obviously continue to perform as well as he is. I have no doubt that he can. At the moment, though, Pittsburgh Knights putting 2 players onto A. Player 4 Monkeys will be there to go ahead and get that decap, maybe the full cap, depending. INZEM doesn't look like he wants to push up, neither does DeToX. So Pittsburgh Knights still holding on to the 2-1 lead. They win in 25 seconds.
Fiercely playing the outward, trying to trap everybody in. That's going to be Avexys forced to make a big play because on this side of the fight, you see Raver going absolutely massive to win that fight for his team, bleeding out INZEM to stagger it even more. Fiercely backtracking, just trying to peck him little by little, and that's going to be enough. He solidifies that elimination, and with nobody else alive on the map in position other than DeToX, who can't be in 2 places at once, Pittsburgh Knights will strike back.
Strike back. Now we're tied up 1-1, and again, both teams winning the spawn that isn't necessarily favorable. So now Pittsburgh Knights go back down to arrivals. It is pretty crazy to see. Again, guys, if you're just joining us, Pittsburgh Knights have a 2-0 lead in this series. So every round they win is a round that puts them closer to a definitive 3-0 victory over Rise, which would put Pittsburgh Knights in first place in Split 2 Pro League to date, which would be truly incredible. Absolutely incredible. Retros are down. We're going to have a 3v3 battle at the heli side.
Out of the fight, you see Dezenide versus Avexys again towards the low side. Avexys saving that round number 1 from possibly even being down 2-0 here in this series, realistically. As this 3v3 fight on the other side of the map is going to be a draw for now. They're waiting to perfectly place smokes, flashes, and we have no opportunity to push through. On the other side, though, Avexys is creating that window of opportunity as Rushiez goes down. That's going to be the first mess up on that side of the map, which puts that pressure on Avexys to really solidify it for the neutral.
In fact, solidified. It's going to put Rise in a comfortable spot depending on how this fight ends up unfolding, though, and it doesn't look too well. And in fact, 3 members will be dead, Jacob. Ooh. And that's going to give great positioning on all 3 hills. And now Rise has to fight out of their spawn just to stay alive. Pittsburgh Knights could be taking a 2-1 lead very shortly. Rushiez does get the touch, to be expected, but now it's just going to be a chain of respawn, get a touch, respawn, get a touch. And at some point, you have to assume it's going to be coming to an end, and that end is going to be right now. One of the shortest rounds we've had as of yet, and Pittsburgh Knights will take a 2-1 lead.
I don't want to say this is a direct effect of being 5 seconds away versus your opponent being 33, because remember, it was 267 tied up at one point or another on that map number 1. You have full control over the hill. One flank from Dezenide really turned that one on its side. Momentum shift. Now coming into this map number 3 with PK up 2-0. Away from not only completing a 3-0 shutout, but what could be UMG's first 9-0 shutout on stream.
Could be. It definitely could be. And man, that would be an incredible sight. To be honest with you, very rarely does Pro League, or even honestly, Pro League or E-Days or any type with this best of 5 as we currently have, it never ends at the 4-hour mark. You know, it just never happens. It's normally at bare minimum a 5-hour, 6-hour broadcast, sometimes 8. So this would be a pretty shocking turn of events the way that it would end. Great shock, though. Beautiful shock. And Avexys will lose his life. In the meantime, DeToX as well. And it's looking like another fantastic start for Pittsburgh Knights, who are going for a domination. INZEM's not ready for this. He's going to be down and out, and there it is. The Mr. Krabs will officially come through. In 35 seconds, I thought a minute and 6 seconds was quick. No, that's going to top it. 3-1, 2 rounds away for Pittsburgh Knights to beat Rise 3-0.
Yeah, they made quick work of that advantage on one side of the map, where Fiercely, he just held forward on his joystick. I don't know if he put a rubber band there just to save him some time and pressure on his thumb, but he kept on going, and that was the flank you were looking at, where he got that free cross, solidifying this one. And look at the scoreboard, 11,000 for Monkeys, but on the other side of things, INZEM continues to have a little bit of a struggle with his return to Gears of War.
Yeah, and that's tough to see, and raises the question, will INZEM be consistent? You know, that's the big thing. Yesterday, one of the star-studded players who was tearing it up alongside his brethren of obviously DeToX, Avexys, and Rushiez, but today having a lackluster performance can raise a lot of questions about inconsistencies, and is he really ready to be back in the saddle? Great shot thrown, almost identical to how Rise ended up falling before, but watch out, a flank from Raver, and Rise gets put into the blender once again. 3 down as Pittsburgh Knights break out to get F and also the top hill of D. They're not going to get onto E, but the fact is they still have a great start. Monkeys not as elegant on that little dive, but hey, that's okay. We'll forgive them. Pittsburgh Knights still don't actually have the objective. What? They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
No, right now it's just about Rush. Rushiez is going to die 100,000, 6,000%. It's about buying time and getting eliminations for your team to make work on the other side of the map. That's going to be a big trade for Rushiez. And you can see 2 players, both DeToX and INZEM, getting that neutral hill. So instead of 3, Rise knew all along it's going to come from a sacrifice being made by Rushiez. And honestly, phenomenal effort to get that elimination, because it could be worse. Right now, it's PK. They're trying to come back. A great shock grenade to trap DeToX in the corner, and now he's taking some fire. He's forced to backtrack after getting that down onto Fiercely. Nobody from Rise able to clean it up, but we see the X-ray. There's 4 players from PK that are here. They're ready to solidify this 4v3, and all the eliminations are going their way. Avexys falls. DeToX soon to follow. INZEM makes like a tree and leaves as Rushiez is trying to keep his team from gaining some points here as he captures the neutral hill.
Still, though, the lead from Rise is pretty substantial, but they're not going to be able to hold on to that. You have to assume anyways, as Pittsburgh Knights might be going in for a domination, depending. And the player that's going to be a thorn in the side of Rise is going to be Monkeys, because he's on a full flank. Now, he will be spotted by DeToX, though, as he goes for the mid-battle. Anyways, on top of your screen, you saw another skirmish taking place on E. But as I said, PK looking to get on all 3 hills. Well, they're at least going to have 2 to their name, as player 5, DeToX, does break away from that Monkeys fight and gets onto D. It's not going to be enough. Hog Team still wins in 59 seconds, so Rise has to find a way to claw their way back.
Yeah, at least, at the very minimum, need to neutralize one of these 2 hills, but about 15 more seconds should go over towards the Pittsburgh Knights, if not more. It might even be a tie game before there's an opportunity, even on the map, for Rise to try to break through as they find 1 elimination and down onto Monkeys. Number 2 is going to be in the books as they solidify that onto Raver and figure out a way to break through. Like I said, decap is going to be step number 1, and a free capture like they have is going to be step number 2. And you got to imagine, Fiercely is being watched on that side of the map. Desnide through the middle. He's also being watched. It's about, oh, do they see him though? Okay, that's going to give it away.
So, once again, 2-2 split. Whoever wins this wins the round.
Ow.
Pittsburgh Knights just needs 1 more hill. Can they get it? Well, actually, the fight's going to be 1 up top, and that should be enough for Rise to win, depending. We'll see it tick over for the 2-1 over in the way of Pittsburgh Knights. Cog Team actually does win in 15 seconds. Player 6, though, is going to sneak through, and Pittsburgh Knights has absolutely no answer for INZEM onto the top side. Still, though, there's a glimmer of hope, because player 2 has broke away, but you need player 2 to get on D and get the decap. You need player 1 to win, and player 1 did not win the fight. Rise will win this round by the skin of their teeth, 250 to 244, and they will bring it 3-2.
He's on the back of Rushiez yet again. I talked about that moment that he needed to stay alive, or not stay alive. He needed to buy time in a moment that he was 100% going to get taken out. But he did. He got the elimination, finally got taken out, which the tables have turned on the other side of the map. From there, Rise was almost smooth sailing. Rushiez able to get the torque bow. He found some elimination. So overall, a perfect round, a great round, maybe not perfect for Rise to go ahead and slowly build that momentum back up. And you even see INZEM, after that one elimination I pointed out, now he's up to 5. So he's even heating up with the rest of the squad.
All right, here we go. This is looking great. Let's see if Rise can come back. But PK, they're tough. They are tough. They will start with the 2-1 in their favor. Rise obviously in the spot. They've been thwarted a couple of times. And the reason why that shock placement has been great, and there's that shock thrown out there. And I don't know who threw that one. INZEM go straight through the shock and electricity because no worries. And obviously, Avexys does get the torque bow too. That's going to be huge. We saw him making some good connection just a little bit earlier. Rise gets the 2-1. And they're starting to come back and looking like the Rise that you expect to be playing.
And Rushiez heating up so much, he just evaporated monkeys to kind of start that initial, which gives up that home meal. That's why you see the swap that they do. Avexys finding one onto Fiercely. Not too much to worry about on the side of the Knights because it was a person deep into their spawn already, but now they have to waste time getting Fiercely to spawn back up before they can make another push as a team. The silver lining, though, is they have the utility, but will Avexys connect with another one? And he does. Catches Monkey slipping yet again. Full control still on over to Rise, and that includes that 3v2 on the hill. Make it a 3v1 as Fiercely gets taken out. Desnide, he reaction shots one, but he gets shut down. A chance for a triple cap domination is going to get shut down, though. That's Monkey spawning back up. That's all the trust that Rushiez has in his teammates to continue to play towards their advantages.
Rise doing a great job objectively, just staying ahead of the curve. Pittsburgh Knights constantly in damage control. Trying to figure out which way they want to try and attack this. Now, I like this 2v1. The reason why I do, well, that's a big trade, actually. And the reason why that trade is so big is because it went from a 2v1 down to a 1v1. And now, player 2, Fiercely, who could have had another brother next to him, has to retreat because he doesn't have any help. He doesn't have any additional PK members to his side because Rushiez was able to get the trade a little bit earlier. That trade made all the difference, and this is the reason why Rise is able to recover in the way they're doing.
Yeah, that makes the difference right there. INZEM getting taken out versus getting that elimination. Desnide trying to go wide. Rushiez yet again out of nowhere to get that elimination. He's leading in this fight as well in terms of damage, but he's backtracking. That smart IQ play to reposition, knowing his help was there, and he returns to get that elimination onto Dezo. Rise heating up. Better late than never, just like I said, in favor of the Pittsburgh Knights early on in this series as they sway towards the other side of the map. Rushiez yet again with a fresh torque bow in his hands. Decap's going to come through, so Rise will maintain the lead. Rushiez is doing a good job of playing Fex. Left to right, up, down. He's being everywhere Rise needs him to be, and connects with yet another torque bow to solidify. Almost gets another one onto Raver, so he has to be careful here, knowing 2 more players are alive. Great flash grenade, but great bow to get the splash damage to prevent Raver from capitalizing on the flash.
Well, Pittsburgh Knights, their only option is to get onto F. They need a decap or a triple cap. And that decap on the top side isn't going to change much, and it really isn't going to hurt PK because, again, the same thing is for them to get onto F. Good shot to at least get the trade. Avexys hitting beautiful shots with the bolt on. On 2, he gets the drop on Monkeys. He gets the drop on Fiercely, and they will secure E once again. And the cherry on top, they're also going to get their hands on D. Jacob, we've got a tied ball game.
Again, back and forth, painting hills, hot potatoing the hills. Just will not stop between these two teams, where I'm just thoroughly entertained. And like I said, INZEM he's stepping it up when the team needs him most, and they're doing it as a full team unit. The Rushiez is making these plays out of nowhere, but it's just alleviating the pressure. So on the other side of the map, they can complete that full big picture play for the rest of the squad. You see retros, shock grenades, torque bows going down as well. A chance to upgrade to incendiary grenades, and that is going to be the difference maker on this initial PK.
Difference indeed. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out, and also excited to see if Rise is finally gaining that momentum back, right? That mentality that they can win this series. Escalation has the tendency to turn a series around for a team that might have looked lackluster in the first 2 maps. But you got to complete it. The reality is Pittsburgh Knights 1 map away from winning this entire thing. INZEM, the opening kill onto Raver in conjunction with the Avexys is definitely going to help. Rise once again with the 2-1, Jacob. Pittsburgh Knights has in the past couple of rounds struggled to get the objective earned early on. But is things turning around? Well, if they can take down INZEM, they will have the 2-1 for themselves. INZEM full red will drop. Pittsburgh Knights will actually have the objective in their favor.
Oh my God, but Rushiez is being so annoying, whether it's Hawkeye or Robin Hood. He is playing it to perfection and gets the splash damage on a player that I don't even believe he intended to get. And if he wasn't in that situation where he's 2v1, he probably finishes off that elimination, but Dezo is going to fall. Great shotgun shot by DeToX to keep Rise in the lead. They got the neutral. They got their home hill back. And I do believe if Rushiez he does have the torque, but actually, no, he did get taken out, so he's going to spawn back up. He knows his teammates are making a play for the home hill, so he's just going to anchor himself on his own, so that way he can get all the information of all the rotating players.
At this point, Pittsburgh Knights, they've got a bit of a deficit, but the recovery, but I believe Rise is about to inch their way up towards F. And PK really can't do anything about it, other than Player 3. Player 3 does have the cross, but he can only do so much, right? Dezo and Fiercely, they've got to feel confident to push up, which they eventually do. But the reality is, Player 3 can do as much damage as he wants, but it's still a 3v1. As Fiercely was the only one who fully committed, which in my opinion, well, can Dezo make a move here? No, he can't. But in my opinion, Dezo should have committed with Fiercely. If you're going to commit to a play like that, it doesn't make sense to send just one player up there. It's kind of throwing your life away, Jacob.
No, I agree with you 100%. You got to play your cards right. You got to make sure you have the big picture in mind. The way Rise is playing right now, the way I see Rushiez backing out, the way I see the team pushing in certain situations, their timing is right, and they're playing with a team-oriented goal line, but DeToX is going to go down at the wrong time. INZEM unable to make the hero play. That's why he's just trying to put out that DPS so that way he can at least get one, but he gets none. Shut down without an effort going towards his side. That hill going to change hands, but this scoreline is so far out of reach. They will need a triple neutralization to take the round, and Monkeys, he gets down, taken out by Avexys, who basically forces a suicide.
Oh, he can't get away. Fiercely takes him down, but can't make the heroic move, but maybe, hold up. Maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. PK is fighting hard, but look at that stop. Look at that stop from INZEM and Rushiez, Jacob. I mean, all the difference in the world, and truly put them on the cusp of winning this. Now they're on the razor's edge.
Needs to win.
Pittsburgh Knights can't get close. They can't, and you're right, he needs to win. Rushiez will fall. Is this another chance for PK? Maybe, but a lot needs to go right. They need to win the 2v2 on D, and they need to win the fight on the top end as well. And they got to do it right here, right now. They have no time to waste. You just got to push. You just got to go, but they can't get close enough. And Rise, just like that, have put themselves at 4-3.
3 straight rounds in a row. This show is now a pay-per-view at this point. No more free watching for you guys the way Rise. And off the back of Rushiez, we took a look at the players to watch. Avexys, his stats are absolutely out of this world. But Rushiez, 17 eliminations, 14 deaths, 10 assists. That's not some phenomenal stat line, but how he's getting those stats for that stat line is what's blowing the competition away.
And I love the fact that Rushiez is stepping up in the way that he is. If Rushiez having a good game Rise, they're going to be just fine. INZEM has also stepped it up too. His stat line looking a lot better than it was at the start. You do see, though, it is going to be Rise using their disable on the shock. They want to be able to secure that torque bow a little bit easier. Meanwhile, PK changes things up by putting the sniper up top. So it's going to be a 1v1 for the sniper between Rushiez and Raver. Meanwhile, it's going to be a fight on tank, of course, the traditional fight as we've seen several times for the torque bow. Good stun, Raver backing up, Rushiez taking a bit of damage. With the way Rushiez has been playing, losing this 1v1 would be hard. Really a hard pill to swallow. And obviously losing the torque bow too, looking like maybe around 9, and we might get there quickly depending on how this next fight goes.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go right now. You see DeToX trying to be the reinforcements. They're trying to solidify this elimination, and Raver knows it. That's why he's moving forward. Triple cap domination for the Pittsburgh Knights. They're trying to steal away, but they leave the hill for the moment. And a right moment at that. DeToX with the flank. They're securing the eliminations regardless on the side of PK. And you hit the nail on the head like a hammer bro from Mario Brothers. We're going to round number 9.
There it is, round number 9, and a tricky situation for Rise, brother. And the reason why is because they just used their disable on Pittsburgh Knights Shuck. And unfortunately, that disable only netted them a 53-second round. And round 9 is where the pressure is going to be at an all-time high. Now, Pittsburgh Knights, obviously, the pressure to finish this series off is there. But the reality is, though, for Rise, they've got a long series ahead of them. Now, I am curious why they chose to disable the retro. Obviously, they didn't want that instant to come into play, which fair enough. But either way, to each their own. I like it. It makes sense. Don't give Rise the opportunity to have that instant kill potential. It comes down to this. Will Rise stay alive, or is this going to be the end?
Already in your minimap, you see a huge difference in strategy. Rise, they want these eliminations. They want the torque bow in the hot hand of Rushiez to go ahead and keep it going. Raver gets the sniper as the players a perfect shot grenade to keep monkeys alive as Rushiez is trying to surround the remaining players. That's fiercely, and he's going for the hill simultaneously to keep them toward a point gain in his favor. Ooh. But Rushiez gets shut down. That's a big play from Fiercely. Tries to go back to back, but it's not going to be enough. That's INZEM with the shutdown. Instant over the top to go ahead and back him off that position as Rise is getting funneled towards that tank. They don't like the look of it on the side of PK. They have the sniper, so they're going to slow down. They're going to take a breath, and they're going to take it step by step.
Well, PK can't be happy, though, with player 5 sneaking throughout the spawn. That's DeToX taking the E-Hill, so Rise will be able to at least cover some of those points. But you mentioned that sniper. It's only so good if you're connecting. And INZEM, in a way, living rent-free up top, but he's forced to back away. Pittsburgh Knights will recover the D-Hill, which can be a difficult hill to hold because you're constantly fighting against Rise spawns. And you can see how difficult it is. Even though Pittsburgh Knights had 3 members up top, they still respect the constant refresh from Rise. So they're going to go ahead and back up. Now, Raver, all eyes on him, and for good reason. Winning this fight would put Rise right back into the ground.
That's going to be a DeToX. Usually in this situation, we see INZEM. More times than not, we've seen a lot of Rushiez. This time around, it's going to be DeToX. One of the players since he joined this roster, Rise, has had an upward swing in terms of how well they're performing, but Monkey's waiting in the wings to strike. He gets one, catches a player slipping, tries to be the hero to backtrack to get that elimination, but he's going to fall short, get taken out, and they're basically just going to trade hills. So Rise will still remain with 2 hills under their control, but look at Fiercely. He's not getting the decap. He's waiting to get the elimination before he does just that, but Rushiez sniffs him out, and that's where it's going to be a battle. 3v1. Fiercely at least has to get something, but he gets denied all opportunity.
Either way, we're still going to be shifting hands on the hills. F now being contested. Pittsburgh Knights an inch away from taking it, but they hop off. They wanted to value taking down INZEM. Rushiez will get the torque bow. He's going to fully back up. Pittsburgh Knights, not a hill to their name, and Rise dangerously close to victory. Just 20 or so seconds. That's going to force Oh, good shot from Rushiez to connect on the Dezo. Literally connecting onto a pixel, and DeToX with the snipe. Pittsburgh Knights are looking down the barrel of a loaded gun, and I don't think they're going to win this, but if they do, it's going to be one hell of a play.
Yeah, they cannot even wait to get these caps. I think Raver's going to wait anyway. I wouldn't advise it. One player is going to get shut down with the sniper. Now he's just giving him time to set up. That's going to be Monkey's shut down next. Raver gets slowed down, and nobody is going to be there in time to get the touch on the hill. Rise will complete the comeback with second half momentum to force a game number 4.
Yeah, incredible job. Game number 4 again. More often than not, when it comes down to execution, this is the turning point in a series. Rise didn't dominate it by any means, but they still got the win, and they still have new life, all right? So now it's still anybody's ball game, Jacob, and that's what I love to see. I would hate to see this series end in a way of 3-0. Not because I predicted Rise, not because I'm biased, okay? So don't start screaming, but because...
Biased.
Right? Stop. It would be because I would hate to see Rise, who just 3-0 Pioneers, lose in a way of 3-0, because I'd be more confused than anything, all right? So I just want to see a close series, because I think both of these teams really deserve that to the fans.
Yeah, and even I was questioning kind of the mental game of Rise after that map number 1 defeat. But at the same time, I'm looking at it, they were tied up 267. They were 5 seconds short, but it is still a close match through and through. Map number 2 might not have been as close, 6-3 in favor of the Pittsburgh Knights, but I had the Pittsburgh Knights taking that regardless of the map number 1 scoreline. But for Rise, now it has me asking the same exact question, but for the Pittsburgh Knights. After a hot first half, but an even hotter ending where Rise secures the victory, what is the mental state of PK?
That's the question. What is the mental state? Honestly, Jacob, I think they're just fine. I really think they're just fine. Now, interestingly enough, now I don't know if this is playing too much into the metaverse, but think about this. Pittsburgh Knights also in grand finals of the fall major with Chaos, mind you, without Fearsome, but with Chaos, did in fact lose to the Pioneers after they had a lead and they were so close to victory. So going to around 9, you know, maybe a lot of the nerves starting to come back into play. It's kind of like whenever we would discuss Regency with Noble, right? When Noble would play on Regency after losing that major against KCP in the fashion that they did, right? Because they almost forced a final game. But they came short, just mere points short because of that spawn that Toady gave. So regardless, right, or didn't give, excuse me, but regardless though, I think Vasgar is going to be a big mental blocker, big mental barrier, if you will, for the side of Pittsburgh Knights, and they're just going to have to get over it.
He did give up a spawn, by the way. He gave it up to the other team.
That's neither here nor there, okay?
Hey, not once, but twice, but you got to give it up to Rise. That never give up, never go out without a fight type attitude. And honestly, I think the guy that deserves the majority of the praise, even though his entire team, if you look at the damage, his entire team was with him every step of the way, but it's the big kills off of the back of Rushiez, those big flank shotgun kills, the big individual shotgun kills, and then his overall usage of the torque bow. That's why you saw towards the second half, round after round, no matter what the strategy was from the Pittsburgh Knights, Rise sent 4 players over there to try to get the torque bow in the hands of Rushiez.
Rushiez finished off with 19 kills, 19k damage. Avexys had the most with 22k damage himself. And even INZEM, we were critical of him, but he had 20k damage to his name, which DeToX was the lowest. But, you know, it was nice to see him step it up after having a very lackluster performance. Now, that does speak volumes about INZEM's mentality to be able to get back into the game and have success, but also maybe speaks volumes about Avexys and co, who's able to uplift him and say, hey, man, it's cool. Don't worry about it. We're still chilling. Let's have a better finish, a better ending, one round at a time. We don't care if we go to round 9, 250, 249, a W is a W. So they're right back in it. And it makes things interesting, Jacob, because we're heading into yet another control. And that last control ended 300 to 295, only 5 points separated. So you can't really say Pittsburgh Knights is the heavy favorite to close this out map 4, much like you can't say Rise is the heavy favorite as well. It is still a coin toss, and a map 5 is looming around the corner.
No, it definitely is, because Ritual, talking about how much Rushiez is heating up in that shotgun category, mixed with a little bit of torque bow, both weapons that we will see on this map. The thing is, right now, this is a shotgun style matchup. Yes, there's some crosses. Yes, there's some angling out, but the predominant fights, the game-changing fights go down around that Nasher. And the way Rushiez has been playing, man, you got to wake up on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, because you said it yourself. If they find a way to force a game number 5, I'll once again question even harder the mental state of this Pittsburgh Knights squad, because right now, they have the game in the bag. Right now, they just need to win one more map, whether it's a close one or an easy one. But once you go to that game number 5, you open up the window of opportunity. It is going to be on Canals. You will have Rushiez just continuing to go off. That's not a sight I want to see.
Not a sight. Well, not a sight that you need to see, right? It's kind of, I don't know if it's really appropriate for the Xbox channel. You know, once we get on Canals with those dual snipes, sometimes it gets pretty crazy out there, right? But that's map 5. We still got map 4, but I really do feel it. I feel like we're going to map 5. I don't know what it is. Ritual is going to be a fun one, though, without question. Those torque bow shots, especially if Avexys gets it. We already kind of got a sneak peek just before on Vasgar. Curious what we'll see heading into map 4. But if I was Pittsburgh Knights, honestly, I would kind of be looking at it from a perspective of, you know what, Vasgar, yeah, map 3, we got a 2-0 lead. If we win it, it's all good. But I don't think they kind of figured they were the favorites heading into it. They're a great Vasgar team, but Rise showed, I mean, fantastic play style on Vasgar against Pioneers yesterday, beating them 5-1. So going into it, I did expect Rise to win it, but I was really impressed with the way Pittsburgh Knights played. And by the way, I think PK, Jacob, has truly turned into a fantastic overall team. I don't see them lacking in any game mode. And I like that's a big improvement from last split.
Yeah, to me, I thought Chaos coming in, kind of spread out the IGL, not having Summons there anymore, who was a good gun for the squad. and they kind of just turned it back. They said, nope, 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 nope. We trust in Dezenide. We know Monkey's going to be there to back him up. We need more firepower. And what more firepower than you can ask for during that roster mania period than Fiercely? Somebody who out the course of that season, we didn't talk much about until the ending portions, when Dyslexic started slowing down a little bit, when Toady started slowing down a bit. It was Fiercely who stepped it up for that team.
All right, here we go. Moving into map number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're excited for it because it's going to be coming either way. Let us know in chat. You still feeling confident with your prediction for Pittsburgh Knights? Or are you starting to feel a little bit safer with your Rise pick? Super curious what you have to say because this series has been a nail-biter all the way through. The only outlier was Checkout, which ended 6-3. But aside from that, District Vasgar literally came down to the wire. Here we go. We're heading into Ritual, and I love this headbutt fight off the rip. We're really going to get to see, you want to say, the mentality of Pittsburgh Knights, right? If they can come through and win this fight straight up without any worries or without any loss of life, hey, Pittsburgh Knights do it just fine.
That's for them. That's the mentality, man. They just have to play as that team that they were doing before. That entire teamwork. You can see it in their stat line. And even though everybody on Rise played phenomenally well, you can see it in the stat line with damage. It's those big kills that Rushiez has. If they find a way to neutralize those big moments, that's where I figure they can come out on top. But if they don't slow down Rushiez here on this map, we will go to a final map to decide the series.
All right, here we go. Like I said, Pittsburgh Knights, if they can come through and just wipe the map clean of Rise members off this rip, well, their mentality is going to be just solid. Either way, even if that doesn't happen, I think they're still going to be just fine. This flank from Monkeys, though, he has been spotted from INZEM, so who knows how much effect he's really going to have. Well, speaking of which, he does kick it down on DeToX, so now he can continue to push up. Kill feed lighting up red, and it looks like Rise is getting wiped off the map, like I said. So, Jacob, I think their mentality, hey, it is perfectly fine. They don't lose a single member. They get the first points, they win the first team fight, and they get the new torque bow.
That's right. It's going to be up to Rushiez here. Once again with pressure on him. As Monkey's probably pistoling out. Say, yo, sit here. I need you to sit here. That's why I say him and Dezenide. The 1-2 punch combo. Brains for the squad. A narrow miss with the torque bow. A fantastic grenade from Rushiez. Yet again. Another one going deep. That could connect with something, but no, just a little too deep as Dezenide uses that to advantage. Returns. Backtracks to take out DeToX. Rushiez falls. Avexys INZEM lights out.
Jeez.
As DeToX and the rest of the squad are wiped off the face of the planet, and Pittsburgh Knights not only able to drain this one, but be first on towards next.
I'll be completely honest with you, brother. I didn't expect that kind of start. Okay, I was just setting up some theoretical storyline, brother, saying PK, if they wipe the map, hey, they're going to be doing just fine, but they won 2 team fights, the power weapon, and the bulk of the points. Can they do it again on the second hill? We already see a little bit of a stalemate over there between Avexys, and I believe that's going to be player number 4. Or excuse me, it's going to be Raver and Avexys on the opposite side. So it's going to be a 2v2 there and a 2v2 here. And Monkeys is holding on for dear life with this torque bow shot. He sends it flying. It has 0 effect. Now he can push up in a 2v1 against Rushiez.
Even if he dies over here, his teammates have to win that battle. DeToX was able to get it down. INZEM finds the elimination, and it does look like they solidify themselves there. So Rushiez, even though he got tossed and turned, flipped upside down, it was out the greater good of the team. But Dezenide, he wastes no time trying to push in towards the hill and just embarrasses DeToX in a quick shot. And now they have to continue to push that back line. They can't allow INZEM to stay alive because that will happen. He takes out one, tries to turn and burn, taking out Monkeys, but he comes up just a little too short. The rest of the team are so successful, it takes them no effort to go ahead and find the rest of those eliminations. You got to think that Pittsburgh Knights will be able to drain this hill dry. So Rise needs to figure out what's next before it's too late.
All right, 62-20. Like you said, Rise needs to figure it out and figure it out quickly. This lead can absolutely snowball into something that's very difficult to overcome. And a 100-point lead isn't looking too far-fetched for Pittsburgh Knights at this point in time. DeToX fighting so hard, but he's full red. He's getting shots on just about everybody from PK, but he's not getting the finishes, unfortunately. But maybe there's still a silver lining. INZEM takes down one. Look at him dodging the torque as well, and then pushing up. Beautiful spacing. That's literally... Oh, can he get finished? Hold up. There's 2 more PK members, and I know he wasn't expecting that.
Needs more bullets in the chamber. That's what INZEM's thinking there. Unfortunate timing on the reload. At least he did get the trade, though. So they're going to be able to solidify themselves in towards the back. Shortbow Revan is just going to land a couple of splash damage. Flash grenade to buy his team a couple more times. Even neutralize impossible, but Rushiez goes for the flank. You got to think after that last map, Pittsburgh Knights have to see it coming at least one time or another as he continues to spread the defense thin. They lose INZEM though. That's going to be a big part of their defense. Down and out. Rushiez, DeToX, Avexys, everybody falling short. Pittsburgh Knights on the third consecutive hill. They make easy work. Absolutely easy. Figuring out a way to break through the defense and make the hill their own.
There it is, 100+ points for Pittsburgh Knights. Well done to them. A bit of a whip, though, from Monkeys. Uncharacteristic. You don't see that too often, but hey, Rise will capitalize off that mistake. Not only getting the kill, but also the pickup, as Monkeys did, in fact, get a drop. See Pittsburgh Knights now having to push back in. Rise, though, doing a great job pushing them back. It is a scrappy fight for sure, but it looks like Rise is going to have the final lap at the end of the day. Maybe not. Hold up a second. Dezo is ready to go, forcing Rushiez back. We're fighting for scrap time at this point. Rushiez wants all the points that he can possibly get. A couple of missed shots will put him into the grave. Pittsburgh Knights committed 4 strong for that engagement. Torquebo looks like it's going to be a free pickup for player 5, so Raver should have that, or Dezla, whoever decides to pick it up. But either way, for Rise, they're going to be on the next hill setup.
And I will say, though, that first Torquebo wasn't the most effective Torquebo coming out of the Pittsburgh Knights. But, you know, when you have that second one in your hands, it just gives you another opportunity to try to shut it down. There's Desnai making his rotation, trying to give him some sort of high ground with that active, almost threading the needle onto INZEM, but only going to get some splash damage. They have to be careful here. Tread lightly because frag grenades are in play. There goes both of them getting dished out. Neither one of those able to find any success as PK maneuvers around. Another opportunity. Flash over the top, or say Torquebo trying to get that splash damage. If first you don't succeed, try again. He finally connects with DeToX. INZEM falls shortly after. That's going to be a double kill for Desnai. Make it a triple thanks to the help of Raver as Pittsburgh Knights continue to assert their dominance. And Avexys, as good as his stats were, is starting to gain kill list.
Yeah, still killless, and that's tough. Avexys is a guy that, yeah, he'll output the damage, right? He'll definitely do what he needs to do for the team, but he needs to get those kills. He's a high-impact player, and you expect him to get into the hill and make a big impact. But Pittsburgh Knights, to their credit, brother, they are looking more serious now than they even look in map number 1 on District, where they ended up winning it. So truly impressed with what I'm witnessing. Team firing is on point. Rise, they're pushing in as individuals, and when they get there, Pittsburgh Knights are ready to gun them down.
Goes to show that last game with Rushiez, the amount of flanks he was able to produce, the amount of big kills from both the shotgun and the Torquebo was a major factor here as Rushiez able to find one. They get it down onto Raver. Since nobody's there, they're going to bleed him dry as they continue to try to push forward and get the next spawn point underneath their control, but they're going to have to work for it. They're going to have to fight. Not going to be long, though, as Fearsley goes out. Monkeys is set to scramble as he loses his teammate. He's going to fall. The last 2 members are nowhere in sight to contest this one.
Nowhere in sight, indeed. 163 to 60. Such a big lead. 103 points, Jacob. And it could get any worse. It could get even worse if Pittsburgh Knights can have more success on this next hill, depending. In fact, he's in a terrible spot. He's been stunned. Pittsburgh Knights are going to swing wide on him and take him down. Rise holding onto this hill, but quite honestly, I think PK is going to be able to break this. That's a great shot onto DeToX. 3 out of the way. PK well on their way to victory road.
Yeah, but about a 55 to 10, maybe even 20 run, and it counting for the Pittsburgh Knights. Thread the needle from across the map. Desnai continues to go on a roll. Monkeys fiercely find a pair of kills on that side of the map. There goes a Rushiez flank. He's able to find one elimination, but his teammates, they just crumble like a soft-baked cookie all around him. And Rushiez is not going to get a taste of that one as he gets shut down as well. INZEM gets backtracked. Everybody denied entry as the Pittsburgh Knights will be the first team over 100. The first team over 200 here in a few short seconds as they break out, find another elimination onto DeToX, and continue to put a hurting onto Rise.
Rise should have tried to recuperate and recover mentally a lot earlier than this, because now it runs into the question, Jacob, where it's like you can't really slow down. You can't. You have too much of a deficit to overcome. You just got to continue to throw your body at each and every fight. Rise should have at least slowed things down or tried to change things up much earlier, but now it's almost to the point, it may be to the point of no return, especially after that 3-man wipe. PK is truly unstoppable at this point. Great job from Rushiez, though. That is a start. That is a start. But this deficit, honestly, it's going to be so difficult to overcome.
Yeah, barring any points they got on this hill, 93-19 run right now for the Pittsburgh Knights. And with those eliminations, another double kill from Raver as he continues to stay alive. Quick revive back into the mix. Avexys and INZEM finally assert their dominance in this exchange. But for INZEM, it's only a few short seconds before he's taken out, and a few short seconds overall before Dezenai and the rest of the Pittsburgh Knights are back into the fray. But Rushiez, he gets a double kill. Monkeys might have been on the ground, but that's going to go ahead on towards his stat line. Frag grenades in the hands of Raver. You know he's going to push forward and try to use these 45 seconds. That's more than enough time for his liking.
Yeah, absolutely. 45 seconds, fight tooth and nail. It's not unrecoverable for Rise. It's really not. If they can get over this 100-point mark, be down 112, still doable. Still doable. But they got to stop PK from 250. That kind of is the threshold where I'm going to get super worried. I'm already worried. It's a great shot from Avexys. Connect onto Raver. Trying to line up another one. Storkbow is going to be out of the way, unfortunately for him. Now it's all up to Nasher's skill, which obviously is going to be one from Pittsburgh Knights. And I'd be hard-pressed to see player 7 lead this. Monkeys is going to really bleed this hill dry. And he actually does hop off. He's going to forego about 10 or so points, which really would have put more pressure onto Rise. But hey, Rise is okay with that. We're back at the start.
33-10 off that hill. Rise doing good, taking it step by step in this one, but they need 3 to 4 big team fights to be successful. And they're going to get absolutely stuffed. Another double kill coming out from Raver, who's just a dominant force in Gears Esports. In the blink of an eye, they retake that hill. But the silver lining for Rise is the hill is not rotated on over just yet. So this is going to be the moment. If they lose this one, they're going to put them so far into a hole, I don't think a ladder can get them out.
I don't think so. I really don't. This is looking pretty rough at the moment. And Monkeys is just absolutely on it. Look, he's on a terror, brother. He's going for the third one. He won't get it, but he'll at least get the finish and look directly into INZEM's eyes and let him know that he just made a mistake. 240 and counting. The lead insurmountable at this point. Rise 1 foot in the grave. Meanwhile, PK 1 foot in the victory circle. Raver finishing off DeToX, and I think Rise is feeling defeated. That is like the 7th, 8th 3-man wipe at this point that Rise has suffered. Pittsburgh Knights not slowing down. Monkeys is 19 and 7 for goodness sake.
Yeah. After that map #1 loss, you can see it's still kind of affecting them mentally. You combine that with the fact that how well the Pittsburgh Knights are playing. Monkey's getting a flash towards the tail end, but he's going to go ahead and live to tell the tale. Flash grenades continue to go out. Torque bows towards the ground as well. Raver continues to dominate along with Monkeys. The 1-2 punch combo, 2 and 15 of Avexys. That's not a score line. That's going to lead anyone to victory, and that is a big score line right there after how well we were praising him to start the game. His stat line was out of this world, but not today. That's going to be shut down by the Latin American powerhouse of Pittsburgh Knights with only 21 points to go. Rise, they're going to have to play perfect if they want to even taste a prolonged map in this one.
Play perfect. What does that mean, right? Jesus, I don't even know if I can even start the dialogue. It doesn't even matter. Pittsburgh Knights are already going for the break. That's another 3-man wipe. If INZEM dies, that's a 4-man wipe. That's happened in a span of 30 seconds. I can't believe it. That is crazy. And Tesso's letting them know 10 points away. Jacob, I don't even think Rise is going to be able to touch the hill once again. This is all but over with. 5 more seconds for Pittsburgh Knights. Make that 3-2 and now 1. And there it is. Pittsburgh Knights will in fact be your champions, winning this series over Rise 3-1. And they are officially in first place in the Pro League for Split 2.
Trying to calculate 52 points scored on the last 4 hills. I should say the last 5 hills for the side of Rise, and I'm trying to think, like, 21, 31, that's like 150, almost 150 to about 50. That's loose math. That's not exact, because you guys don't want to hear the exact numbers, because you guys will be living the same nightmare that Rise did. But congratulations to me and only me, along with PK. All jokes aside, they just played absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad I switched my pick at the last second.
Congratulations to you, Jacob. That was a fantastic audible you threw out there. Go with Pittsburgh Knights. But let's talk about the reality here, Jacob. Pittsburgh Knights beat Rise 3-1. Rise beat Pioneers yesterday 3-0. This might be the split where Latin America might have its best chance to win a championship. I know I'm calling it early, but the storyline has to be set because PK just gave one of the best performances we've seen them give in a long time. That ritual wasn't close at all. Rise didn't have a snowball hell and chance that went on that map. Pittsburgh Knights literally played that flawlessly and perfectly. PK has to be feeling on top of the world and more confident than ever.
Can I be that guy for a second? Can I be that guy?
You're always that guy, so why stop now?
Can I go ahead and can I pop a balloon? Can I deflate some people? We're talking about that Rise versus PK, that complete shutout Rise got, not over PK, over the Pioneers. And congratulations to them. They showed up. They earned it.
Sure.
But the last time before that one, last split, we were talking about how good Rise was going into it. Pioneers completely mollywopped those boys. It was a 3-0 shutout, very, very similar, but the score being reversed. And we talked about, Rise came up short. They were a shell of themselves, right? And PK, or Pioneers, took advantage. So many P names, Purified, PK, Pioneer. But they took advantage of that one right now. So I'm thinking about yesterday's matchup, and I'm trying to think long and hard. I don't want to be that guy. But with the Pioneers playing like a shell of themselves, Rise coming out and taking advantage, I could see that going 3-0 in favor of Rise. And this one returning, being a little bit more normal, I think follows suit. I think Rise is playing a little bit sluggish today and PK taking full advantage. I'm not going to take anything away from the victors in these matchups, but these teams that are losing, I feel like are just losing to themselves just as much as they're losing to their opponents.
Fair enough, losing to themselves. Interesting take. Interesting take, Jacob. I'm just confused, I think, more than ever about the power dynamic here. But I'm not confused that Pittsburgh Knights is the best team in Pro League right now. They have absolutely solidified that. The stats don't lie. Now, one thing, though, that I do have to question. Rise, 3-0 victory over Pioneers yesterday. 3-1 loss here to PK. And it's not just the losses. I mean, like, that ritual map really showed that Rise wasn't going to win this series. That was just such a big loss. But the first 3 maps after that were incredibly close, so I give credit to them. But now I worry about the consistency of Rise. How consistent are they going to be able to be, not only series to series, but map to map basis? I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm not even going to try and entertain the idea that Rise is inconsistent, because I don't think they are, outside of this ritual, which didn't go as planned whatsoever. But Pittsburgh Knights have shown that fiercely being the fresh edition has truly paid dividends. I'm impressed. I'm so impressed.
And they trusted. Oh my God, I didn't even see that in action. That's Des and I. Oh my. He's always been known to kind of take a lot of the blame for the squad. You can see in a lot of their big losses during the majors, it's Des and I this, Des and I that. I don't think people give him enough credit for what he's able to do, because it's not only what he does on the stat line. It's not only the fights that he takes, but the way he's able to uplift his teammates, the way he's able to play his game while still maintaining a certain presence in the mic, a certain presence throughout the entirety of his roster to keep them going, to keep them with their eyes focused forward. So the Pittsburgh Knights, without a doubt, are the #1 team in terms of record, but I think they're one of those teams that will always be able to dig deep with the passionate of all of Latin America on their side. I think that's energy that's going to be hard to match this split.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I really do. And Colin was given his analysis in chat, and I was kind of reading all of it. And I think he, hit the nail on the head for quite a few of those points. And one of those points that he made was Rise isn't playing as team-oriented as they did against Pioneers, something that made them so successful. And I will say this, the Rise yesterday compared to the Rise today, Pittsburgh Knights, Pioneers aside, Rise played out of control yesterday. They played at a championship caliber. They played at a frequency that couldn't be matched by anybody, and I stand by that. But the Rise that played today, when they lost that first map of district, it really, and even that district, let's even hone in on that district. Yes, it was only 5 points that separated, so still a great performance from both teams, right? But Rise at times, though, were getting bullied out of their positioning, and they weren't playing as team-oriented as they were yesterday. That's the big key takeaway in this series, and Colin said that, and I agree with it. Rise didn't play as a team like they did yesterday, and that really showed in this matchup versus Pittsburgh Knights. You have to, and you said it in the break too, one thing that has shown in these first 2 weeks, Jacob, if you're not playing with all your heart and with all you got and all of your maximum capacity, you're going to lose series. That's how good some of these teams are, and Rise simply lost.
Consistency is definitely key, and I feel like the only one for Rise that really played on a consistent elite top tier level is going to be Rushiez. And that's one thing about this man is he's always been known for that hyper aggressive, hyper slaying style of play, and I think he proved he still has it in him here today. And I think it's just about the squad finding themselves still. Like I said, against the KCP Rise matchup last split to where they were blown out of the water, I don't think that was a very accurate representation of that matchup. I don't think yesterday was an accurate representation of a Rise versus KCP style of matchup. And I'll say it here again, even though I did switch my pick, I did think the PK was going to come out on top towards the tail end. I do think this is not an accurate representation of a Rise versus PK matchup.
Okay, fair enough. And I can kind of agree with that. I can. But, saying that is dangerous, right? Because then it's
I'm willing to take it.
You're giving excuses. You're giving excuses to Rise. And, Pittsburgh Knights, flat out, they won this series. And they are your number one team in Pro League for that very reason. Congratulations to Pittsburgh Knights. And congratulations to all the teams that ended up competing today. Seriously, hey, hats off to you. You always put on an incredible show. And speaking of an incredible show, now we're down to my favorite part of the day. We had an incredible moment from Demon when they were playing with Rebel, of course, against Team Queso earlier. It was when we were on Clock Tower, and he, in fact, earned the eSwapX Pro Controller Play of the Day. Jacob, walk me through it.
I mean, that first headshot was as easy as can be back on. That second one, it takes a split second. And that third one on the Crystalline was even shorter of a gap. Chavi goes for the back A. In that moment, he peeks his head up, was all that he needed. We're going to slow-mo pig problems, misrolling his life way. Like I said, he goes for it and swings his shot Chavi to perfection. And once again, Crystalline, I don't even know why you're Crystalline him. I don't know why. And neither does he. He just takes his face and ends the day there.
That was a beautiful eSwapX Pro Controller Play of the Day. Demon earned it for sure. It wasn't the first snipe necessarily that got me. It was that second flick when the guy was on cover. That was just pure reactionary. That takes repetition. That's something you can't teach, right? That's just something you have within you. And Demon has it within him to make plays like that. That's what makes him so deadly on the battlefield, Jacob. Today was an incredible day. It really was. And it's time to start getting into our results of the day. We had 3 matches that ended up taking place, at least on the main station, and hey, it was great. Now I do want to take note, right? We had 3 matches that ended up taking place. We had Team Queso versus Rebel 3-0, Fury 1 Purified 3-0, Rise Pittsburgh Knights 3-1. Pittsburgh Knights getting the victory. But something to take note of. Discipline Pioneers, Fire and Ice, E United. Discipline did, in fact, forfeit. Fire and Ice ended up forfeiting as well. So E United and Pioneers, they did get themselves a win today. I hope that's not a reoccurring trend, but things do happen. But across the board, you had a lot of 3-0s. It's something to take note of. The only one that went the distance, 3-1, Pittsburgh Knights. That's your results for today. Now, Jacob, break down the standings for me, because we had to shift a bit.
I mean, I love it. At the top to start the day, we had Rise at number 1 due to map percentage, with Pittsburgh Knights at number 2. A hard-fought 3-1 victory gives them the 4 wins in a row, standing at top of the standings, but it topples down Rise just a little bit from first to 4th due to that same map win percentage. And it goes to show E United and Rebel are just waiting for that opportunity to go up against anyone to take away that first place placing. Only unfortunate thing is for E United, they don't get that rematch against the Pittsburgh Knights until the major.
Oh, they do not get that rematch. Round robin, right? So you only play each other once, and then after that, it's just E-Days, and then, of course, the major. Discipline Fire and Ice, still without a win. They're going to have to step it up. They've got some, hey, if they can get a win, who knows, maybe they can get up there with Purified Team Queso, because Purified Team Queso are absolutely not out of the woods in terms of relegation either, right? So they've got to be careful in the way that they play, and they really got to step it up. Fury 1, though, being the outlier, definitely stepping it up and bringing their way forward. Jacob, they're playing really well. Super impressed with how Fury 1 ended up playing. I think today was pretty compelling and pretty showing for certain rosters out there, and each and every day has kind of been a big bit of a treat. A lot of upsets. It's not. I thought this was going to be a clear-cut split. It really hasn't been.
I just want to say it again. Thank God for Pittsburgh Knights. We definitely got that bread together. After this one is done and over with, I'm going to take that same bread. I'm going to make myself a mighty sandwich, probably a side of chips, something like that to mix it up, because I am hungry. agree, but man, am I just really proud? Because like I said, we had a chance to kind of end it with 9-0. You know me, I love to see these top teams really assert their dominance, even if it's a matchup like this, where I think Rise played as a shell of himself against this Pittsburgh Knights squad. But I will say, you said I'm opening them up for excuses. There's no excuses other than they played bad. And at the end of the day, the record will reflect a win for the Pittsburgh Knights. But the Pittsburgh Knights, there's no way they're sitting there thinking it's going to be that easy when they face against them during that major. Just like I don't think Rise will think it's that easy going against the Pioneers when that major rolls around. So no excuses to be made. I'm just laying all the facts on the table.
Yeah, but the confidence is going to be there, though. You know, the thing is, if you could beat Rise or you could beat Pioneers, you can beat anybody. Now, Pittsburgh Knights haven't directly beat Pioneers, but they beat the team that beat Pioneers. So therefore, they know they could beat anybody, right? It's kind of like you go down a rabbit hole at a certain point in time. You know, it's pretty incredible. But
Wrong.
But I agree with you. It's not going to be easy, and no team should feel that way. No team should feel like, okay, we're going to play PK or we're going to play Fury 1. We're going to play Discipline, and it's going to be easy, right? That shouldn't be your mentality. You should go in thinking, okay, we're going to play at a championship caliber level because we need to, because that's what the teams expect and need to at least fill, and obviously, if you're not going to play your heart out every single match, every single series, well, then why are you really here? Why are you really? It goes back to the sentiment that we said before about being too scared. You can't be scared in Pro League. If you're scared, you're going to lose every series. This isn't a place to be scared. But hey, we got next week going to be starting up before you know it in the blink of an eye. We've got our schedule ready to go. Let's take a look at it and see which matches we're going to have. And Jacob, what are you liking?
I mean, that top one of these winless wonders will finally taste a little bit of victory. Fire Knights versus Discipline, Team Queso versus Pioneers, and Team Queso, y'all boys better figure it out quick because Pioneers are out for revenge after that loss we were talking about. Fury 1 once again gets a test against an EU United roster that added dyslexic for firepower, and then Rise versus Purified. I think that's going to be a good test for Rise and a great match to kind of close out the day because Purified, we've seen them struggle. We've seen them come out on top. Rise, the same could be said. A massive victory against Pioneers, a big loss against Pittsburgh Knights. Where do they stand at the end of it? I think that's a good match to kind of see.
I think Rise still stands top 3, top 5 for sure, without question. Purified is the one I have a lot of questions for. This loss today against Fury 1 in that fashion at 3-0. Jacob, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Getting a big victory there would have, continued to elevate their stock, but now I'm curious where they do stand. But either way, all good things must come to an end, and this is one of them. Jacob, it's been an incredible day. What are your final words before we get out of here?
Hey, man, I just love Gears Esports. There's certain young guns that I'm kind of putting that pressure on, like Chavi, like Gary, to really step up in those big moments. But I'm going to lay it a little easy. You guys still have some more learning to do. And for some of you guys out there, look how many new names, look how many new teams, look how many new players we got in the Pro League this time around. It's your guys' chance. I say every single season, this is your chance. If you guys are here, if you guys are passionate about Gears of War, there's no reason it's not you guys sitting here getting casted over one of the best minds in Reflections, Calm the Crow Card Blaze, and myself.
Hey, absolutely. Check it out. Like I said, all good things must come to an end. I want to finish the show the way that I started it, baby, with the glasses on. Police Taylor or Cop Taylor coming out. Whatever you want. I don't know. You guys had some creative names. Free. Not saying that. No. But hey, it's been a beautiful time with all of you. And there's that gold chain we were looking at, baby. Look at that thick boy. You love to see it. And Jacob is 2 chains. All right, that's who he's going to be known as for the rest of the time being. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. Hit the follow button if you haven't already. You saw the schedule for Tuesday. It's going to be incredible. We would love to have you back on Tuesday here on the Xbox channel at 5 Eastern. But for you guys out there, Emergence Days will be on the UMG Gaming channel tomorrow. The Gears action never stops. That's going to be at 5 Eastern, UMG Gaming. Again, we would love to have you there. For myself, Taylor Reflections Noble, Jacob MVPR, our production team, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here. Be on the UMG Gaming channel tomorrow for Emergence Days. We would love to have you 5 Eastern. It's going to be a great time.